are supposed to be people advising Joint Task Force Micronesia and Joint Region Marianas, which sit in Guam, about what's going on in the region. And now I had a meeting with them on the way out to Yap. There is this is a place that has characters like that sound like they're in like a 1930s novel. So there is a Jesuit missionary who started going to Micronesia in 1963, Father Fran. Okay, who lives in Guam. Father Fran started collecting everything he could about the whole region of Micronesia, including, he went into the Japanese archives, the U.S. military archives, the religious archives. He collected them all in one physical place, which is now in Yap. It's the Micronesian Seminar Library. You can see a lot of it online. I went through it when I was there. It has things like photos marked secret of packing crates that I'm 98.4% sure are of the assembly of the atomic bomb in Tinian. Okay, so it's not like there is a lack of very deep knowledge, including very deep relationships. Father Fran is loved across the region. I'm giving one example. There are others. Father Rich, who is now also Jesuit, who is now in charge of the library in Yap, also extremely knowledgeable. There are many, many, many. But the people they are getting advice from, kind of self-appointed Micronesian whisperers, are assuring them that they've got everything covered. I saw this in a meeting where they were assured, for example, we've got Woleai covered. And then I showed up in Woleai and was there for the groundbreaking of the runway, of the work on the reconstruction of the runway. And there were no other non-Micronesians or non-Chinese there. But the president of the country was there. So one of the lines is, you'll keep getting told, we're tracking it. And what somebody in Yap said was,
tracking it. We're tracking the giant Chinese flag on this runway. We're on it.
Yeah. Well,
Good.
What this guy said was, I'm tracking the dishes piling up in my sink since Monday.
That's good. Yeah. This is a huge national security risk, and no one is talking about it.
You are.
One person is. Oh, I was going to say you, Cleo.
Well, so is everybody in Yap and the Outer Islands. I mean, there are a lot of people. You just talk to the low. It's really not hard. It's not fun if you take the boat, but it's not. It's doable.
Can we talk about how you ended up at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Woleai runway?
Yeah, I feel like this wouldn't be a place they would invite you to.
So, I had heard, I mentioned that the high school graduations were a big deal. And I had heard that the president of the Federated States of Micronesia was going to, in the Outer Islands, remember there's that whole chain, Outer Island chain. In that whole chain of islands, there are only two high schools. One's in Ulithi and one's in Woleai. And so if you're from any of the other islands, you have to go live in those places. So I'd heard that the president was going to the graduation in Ulithi and the graduation in Woleai. Now, he has his own boat, so he didn't have to go on H2.
I was wondering about that.
But it struck me as, and I had also heard that Chinese were starting to move on to Woleai. Chinese construction crews were starting to move on to Woleai. There was a big mothership that had gone there with sort of a few weeks before, and construction crews had come in, and they had come in from Palau, so they didn't have to. You can only get to Yap from Palau or from Guam. If you go through Guam, you're tracked by the Americans. but these Chinese crews had come in through Palau. So I knew that there was a convergence of Chinese construction crews, the mothership, and the president was going to be on Woleai. So I took the boat. I got on H2. They timed H2 to make sure to be there for the 2 high school graduations because there was a lot of population movement, right? The students were coming back. We're going to be moving back after the graduation. So there was definitely going to be an H2 trip. I got on H2, and H2 was hundreds of Micronesians, some of whom very well might be dual U.S. citizens because they served in the U.S. military or they had family there, they grew up there, and 5 Chinese. And, we saw each other. I mean, we kind of stood out. And there was, one very Chinese guy, construction guy, turned out, very nice guy. He was playing traditional musical instrument. Do you know what the instrument was, Shelley? I showed you a photo at one point. Remember?
Yeah, it might have been like a yueting, it's kind of like a moon
Lute?
zither. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a type of Chinese zither.
Yeah, very good musician and trying to connect and everything. And at one point, one of them was looking to break $100 bill, U.S. $100 bill. Now, there are not a lot of people traveling on H2 that have change for 100.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, which is one issue. The other issue is, because the locals aren't stupid, they're probably also wondering what are the chances this is counterfeit. Anyway, I happened to have $97 on me. And so I offered to break 100. And we started chatting as much as possible. And this isn't with the musician guy. This was with one of the other guys. And where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Woleai. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to Woleai. What a coincidence. And we made friends. And when we arrived in Woleai, they got off on their launch and took off. And I waited for one of the little things to get on shore, and I went off. The president arrived the next day, sort of, and there was a big welcoming ceremony, and then he disappeared. And question was, where is he going? He's going to the groundbreaking of the Woleai runway. So I asked some of the local kids, how do we get there? And they're like, well, there's this shortcut through the forest. And when you go through the woods, you see all around you relics from the Japanese imperial era. You see, sort of old, the roller that they used to build the runway in the first place, pieces of transport equipment. There's a zero, you see pieces of Japan all over the place. And so we kind of ran through the forest and the swamp and got there just as they were setting up this big groundbreaking ceremony. And there were my friends who I'd met on the boat. And they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, hey, good to be here. And, I had a bunch of kids with me, and I'm just me. And I had a very good camera. So, they wanted good pictures taken. So that's a whole other story. And they were really nice to me. They were very welcoming. Brought me into the crew. The workers are very proud of what they're doing. They're going to be there for 8 or 9 months in relatively inhospitable conditions, living in barracks, to build a runway that the locals need. So the workers themselves are proud of what they're doing, and that was why I was there. That was why, I don't know if have you shown this photo?
But we're putting it up on screen for those of you watching this or listening.
Did you get to touch one of those gold shovels?
So if you've got if you see the picture of all of them standing up on stage, there's one guy holding a shovel. The man with the golden shovel is a wonderful man.
It's a James Bond movie.
Yeah, he's the principal of the neighboring island Central High School, and they're the ones. The other thing is, these islands, there are no shops, there's no hotels, there's no. I had to stay on the island until the boat went down the island chain and then came back and picked me up for the return trip. And you don't know whether, if the boat breaks down, that could be for months. And Stanley and his family took me in and let me live with them for the whole time I was there. They are wonderful, wonderful people. So that's the man with the golden shovel. The people in the middle of the photo are the president of the Federated States of Micronesia and his wife, who came for the high school graduation, but also, I think, for this.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So,
there's one more photo we haven't shown.
yes. You want to talk about that one?
Which one is it?
The one where you are front and center, just in back of the Chinese flag. Cleo, you little shitster.
Look, they were very. The work crew was very hospitable, old friends from the boat, and they were kind enough to invite me to join in their celebration of the groundbreaking of the Woleai Runway.
Wow. Hegseth needs to hire you. Someone needs to hire you.
I think my dad agrees. Somebody does need to pay me something because
this trip cost you $97. By the way, did you check if that $100 bill was counterfeit?
So the $100 bill is interesting. I've shown it to many people. One of the elements of it is an old bill. It's from the 1990s, and that apparently is unusual. And for those who know anything about this sort of thing, they'll know why that's unusual.
Yeah, the 1990 series was a lot easier to counterfeit than the newer ones.
Oh,
so if you see also a lot of there's a massive amount of $100 bills circulating around the globe, right? And the problem is you don't know which ones are real. So besides the paper, they've also now included things like holograms and special fibers. But the 1990 series was substantially easier to counterfeit.
There's also questions about what happens to old money that's supposed to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But could be totally legit and everything fine.
Yeah.
well, feel free to send it to me, and I'll try to.
You'll check it by trying to spend it.
I know some places in Chinatown.
Yeah. So
this is incredible. I mean, this whole story of international intrigue, national security issues, complete failure of the U.S., and here you are, literally
in the middle of it.
In the middle of it. That was just one clip from our hour-long podcast with Cleo. Want to watch the whole thing? Want to download the MP3 and listen to it while driving or washing your dog? Then sign up over at ChinaUncensored.tv to get the full podcast and hundreds more. I'll see you there.